Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. If you are new here, what up? Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Ethera, the ice sorcerer this season. It is a legendary. It is not discounted, so it is a full 37k sigils for this dragon. We're going to go over the spell kit like we do in all of these reviews, just really quickly, so you know what the dragon actually does. So the first spell on our list is Glacial Spike. This acts like a death gaze. It deals 25 times the attack as damage to a small target area, and it has a 4-second cooldown. It is white, and it has a 1 rage cost to use, so not too bad for that. We also have Watcher's Shroud, which is a blue 2 rage cloak. It is a 4-second cloak. You fly 50% faster, and you can use spells and breath damage while in the cloak without breaking that cloak, and it also has a 4-second cooldown. Next, we have Warning Beacon, which is a white run rage spell. You mark a tower. Upon destruction, you gain 2 rage and 30% health back. It has a 2-second cooldown. This is very similar to like the Hunter's Mark and a lot of the other marks that we've seen on a lot of dragons coming out recently. And then lastly, we have Frostbite, which is a passive spell. So this is built into the dragon. You don't have to touch anything, tap anything. It automatically does this. And it basically means that your normal breath attack debuffs the towers and the damage taken by 50%. So all you have to do is put on auto battle with a sorcerer, and it automatically debuffs those towers so that they take more damage and they're easier to take down. So moving on, the pros, it has a Death Gaze Spike type spell. You can really take out problem towers this way. If you are good at spiking or death gazing, you can take out 2 to 3 towers at one time in specific areas. It has a cloak to avoid damage, and you can also shoot from it, which I think is really cool. We haven't seen that on a sorcerer yet, to where you can actually use the auto battle breath damage type spell in the cloak. So that was a cool thing to do. It has a way to gain health and rage, and the passive breath damage that you can use while in the cloak debuffs the towers so that you can deal more damage. And not only that, but any following dragon that you have in your roster also does more damage. So if you are a lower level, like kind of trying to set up a base, and you're able to spike down a blue mage, this would be a good dragon to kind of debuff some towers, make it a little bit easier on yourself for your following dragon, and things like that. And now let us get into the cons. So the biggest thing that I found with this dragon is there's no way to dodge a mage drain island. If they have blue mages, you can't use the cloak to dodge that because it blurs out the spell if there's a blue mage present. And it's also quite costly to try to use that as a rage drain deterrent because it is 2 rage. And the only way that you can get rage back is by using that healing mark or like rage mark. And if you're using auto battle on a sorcerer, which I highly recommend, sometimes it auto targets those monuments and they're destroyed, so you can't put a mark on them. So that is kind of annoying, and that is one of the biggest downfalls I think that this dragon has in terms of me flying it personally. The cooldown on the spike spell is pretty long. It's the main source of damage, really. And especially if you're trying to take a defended base, you can't really hit the Earthflack and the Blue Mage, which are 2 problem towers for a defended base. If you're hitting a defended base with this thing, unless they're perfectly put together and you can double spike that, it's going to be really hard for you to be able to use that cloak because you have to get a Blue Mage down to be able to cloak and avoid the damage. And then in general, mark type spells are awful on sorcerers. I never want to see them on sorcerers. They're just very frustrating. I would have rather have seen like Blood Fury or just any kind of tap spell that helps you get rage back. Even if it was less rage, it probably would have been more beneficial because it's very frustrating flying a sorcerer to have to try to also put those rage mark down, and sorcerer's breath damage doesn't spam down a tower quickly. Like a warrior can target a tower, an invoker can 3-shot with its invoke and take out a tower, and then hunters can spam down towers very, very quickly. So it's really hard for a sorcerer to do that because you have such limited breath damage and you can't spam things down. It's just the way that the sorcerers are made. They're just not made to rely on their breath damage. They're more so made to rely on their spells. And the way that this thing was built, it is mostly a breath damage dragon, and while the breath damage does debuff the towers for 50%, I don't think it is enough to warrant a defended run. Basically, when tower levels were redone and got a lot more HP put on them, the breath damage on dragons didn't get that as well. So that's why you see a lot of dragons with 400% damage amp modifiers, because that's the only way that it can take out a tower. It's really prevalent on a lot of warriors recently, and hunters also, which is crazy to me that you have to have a 200% damage buff on a hunter to take down 2 towers at once at max tier. I don't think that should be the way that it is, but it is. So 50% is nothing on a sorcerer, especially because the damage that it does with its breath damage is so limited that there's just not enough that it can do. So I don't think Ethera is a viable option. I don't think it's going to be good for mid or high level players. Maybe if you're a low level, you can kind of get away with it. Most people in the low level tiers don't have really, really good bases yet. They likely don't have earth flags. They likely don't have a lot of flag towers that can cancel you or hurt you. So it would probably be okay for you, but there are too many things working against the dragon when defenders are present for it to be successful. It is better purposed as a cleaner or as a setup dragon for its ability to debuff the towers. And spike problem towers out. I just don't think that it is worth a full line of sigils, like 37k for the dragon. Personally, I was kind of sad to see another legendary ice sorcerer come out when we just had Telluriac last season, which was the discount. So a lot of people did get Telluriac, and I do think that Telluriac was a better overall ice sorcerer. So if you have Telluriac, I definitely would not get Ethera. Telluriac, in my opinion, is heads and tails a much better dragon than this one. So overall, I don't really recommend it. Like 3 out of 10. I don't know, maybe 4 out of 10, just because it has like the spike and it can like shoot in its cloak, which was like really cool for a sorcerer because we haven't seen it yet. But I don't recommend it, and I'm sorry if you got it. I'm sorry if this wasn't the review that you were looking for, but I always try to be honest with how I feel about a dragon, having flown them, and having flown this dragon with probably my best set of gear because I have mythic ice gear. It just didn't perform as well as Sekhet, the warrior, with better gear and everything. It just didn't perform as well. So that was sad to see. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you stick around for the rest of these pros and cons that I'm going to put out. I will also have more defended content and more content in general out soon for the dragons, so you can really see them, get a feel for them. I also will be live streaming on Sunday with them. It'll be my last live stream with the dragon, so make sure you tune in. It's usually around 10 a.m. Central time, so that would be like 8 a.m. PG time or 11 a.m. What is that time zone? Eastern? Yeah, Eastern time zone. So hopefully you can tune in, ask me some questions, see them fly in action, and just hang out and have a good time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world, and I hope to see you in my next one. Okay, bye!